You recently had a spat with Laura Loomer. She claims to be this close confidant of the president. She's a Republican influencer. Do you think she's a valuable voice in the Republican Party?
Well, look, she's got a big platform. And by the way, I've got no problem with Laura Loomer. She is a confidant of the president. The president talks to her. I talk to her. And at the end of the day, sometimes people say things on the internet that get on my nerves, and I respond to them. Sometimes they say things that get on my nerves, and I ignore them. That was the time that I responded.
Disgraceful, I think you said.
Yep, I responded to it. I did. But I'm not trying to reinvigorate my spat with Laura Loomer. I said what I said. I'm going to disagree with Laura from time to time. But yes, she is a person that both me and the president talk to. She's got a big platform, and she's been very loyal to the president, which, having spent a lot of time around a lot of people who are not loyal to the president of the United States, I admire that she just is who she is. If she disagrees with you, she's going to call you out. Laura Loomer and I can have our disagreements while fundamentally being aligned on supporting the president's agenda.
After the fight, have you made up?
I said what I said.
Okay.
And I'm not going to reinvigorate our dispute. Look, Laura is a person of extremely strong opinions, and so am I. Sometimes that means we're going to butt heads, but fundamentally, what are we trying to do here? We're trying to implement the president's agenda. We're trying to win the midterms. Laura and I are on the same team for that fundamental fight.
What's all this about with her? What is this whole long thing with him and Laura? Why is this even addressing this?
Well, it doesn't match the headline exactly. J.D. Vance mends frayed alliance with Trump whisperer after a explosive feud as he's forced into a astonishing U-turn. That's not really a full-blown U-turn. That's kind of a, I'm not going to address it. She's friends with the president. I'm not going to address it. And he seemed to be.
I mean, was there an incident? I don't know what was the spark.
Yeah. She's been critical of him on a couple of fronts, and oddly enough, he's gone after her with some pretty strong language.
Wow.
He responded calling her disgraceful.
What?
It was one of the arguments she was pointing out was he was pushing the abortion messaging, and the White House doesn't really want to get into that with the midterm
because of the blowback.
A pretty good memory of 2022, I believe, which really blew up in their face when after Roe v. Wade got overturned.
Right.
It wasn't even 20. What was that? God, I can't keep up anymore. It might have been 2018, but anyway, they got killed. And then what was it? He said something else, but some of the critique has been he uses stronger language toward her, but then Nick Fuentes calls his wife a pretty slanderous racist term, and he's like, he sort of soft pedals that and some other things, but anyway, it's interesting story.
Listen to Mike Benz. It's all going to be moot because he put out this video last night, really a plea to Rubio and Vance to pay attention to this thing. I was shocked, as was the intention of the video by Mike, to get their attention about what the EU is apparently going to do in June of 2028, and that this cyber phishing exploration that they've been doing by breaking into X's offices in Paris and stealing all of the data, and then the recent head of Spain issuing a 7-point program to destroy free speech on social media platforms. Mike Benz, and I recommend that everybody in the United States watch this video by Mike Benz. It's about 10, 12 minutes long. I'm sure he'll do some follow-ups, but this was an attempt by him to get the attention of Rubio and J.D. Vance for 2028 exclusively. And what he is saying is the EU is going to pull the plug on American social media by levying fines in the area of $14 billion to $50 billion in June of 2028. And that the media companies, the social media companies, will have no choice but to do their bidding, not knowing who is going to be in the White House after November's election. And he feels that they will pull the plug on the social media and the accounts of Rubio and J.D. Vance, putting the election into complete chaos because they'll have no choice, Eric, because the fines are going to be so draconian. And he feels that the recent fines,
40 million was a trial balloon.
And there was absolutely not even a X or a social media response by the White House, and they are shocked in Europe that this is working for them. So this was an attempt by Mike Benz to get the attention of the administration to deal with this now, instead of when it happens, which is probably what they're going to do in June of 2028, not believing that the EU is going to do this. But Benz is asserting as strongly as he can that they are going to do this and blow up the election.
I see what he's saying. I would argue they need to do it before 2026.
He's arguing that too.
I mean, this year. Because
right. No, he's saying that too.
He used Wyoming as an example. That Wyoming had a law put into effect, essentially saying that a person affected by a social media company could then sue a person who was affected by policies in Europe could go after foreign officials if there's like a cross pollination. And I think that he has a point there, but I would rather see the Wyoming law be taken up by Congress and become federal law. And then that would be, there'd be a lot of teeth, and there's only chance of that possibly happening is if it's done now, because terms don't, super, super pretty.
Right. That being said, it's not going to happen now. And after the midterms, it's not going to happen. So you literally kissed those two guys' campaigns goodbye. They have done nothing about this other than do some social media, statements about this. They apparently refuse to get tough with anyone. This thing is not going to end well. Now, with Clinton coming in to testify, they're saying they're going to get Trump the moment he leaves office. They're going to get every single person once they take back the oversight committee. They're going to do the same thing to everyone in his orbit. And who could blame them, for bringing in a former president and his wife?
Well, that was the catch the car concept. That if Comer catches the car, well, you're going to catch, a lot with it.
Right. Well, I'm saying Trump is now walking it back. Now he has realized that this is a bridge too far, and now he's defending Bill Clinton. That's how weird this has gotten. So Comer apparently doesn't know what to do now, according to sources. He doesn't know if he's being helpful or not helpful, or should he proceed with this thing with Clinton or not?
Yeah, it's very confusing. And Dustin, question, what's Benz's evidence? Well, Benz is going by previous behavior and the fine that has already been levied as a trial balloon. So
he's also an expert on cybersecurity and has been in the administration before, has worked in the State Department. I mean, his bona fides are endless in terms of evidence. But Eric's right about that.
In the White House in 2020. He said, when I was there in 2020, I watched this happen, which included Twitter removing a sitting president. So there is a degree of
You think there's a precedent for this?
A precedent of a president that is jettisoned from a platform. So
he refuses to go after his enemies. I believe he will be jailed upon him leaving the White House. If they're in charge of the White House with President Newsom at that time, he will be indicted and incarcerated. I believe he will die in prison, as my hunch, because he refuses to fight back against his enemies. And they're not going to stop, Eric. People just don't believe how aggressive they are. For reasons that I can't understand, they always believe the Democrats are bluffing. And yet, no matter how much evidence piles up about them incarcerating people, they refuse to believe they're going to do it again. They're going to do it harder, and they're going to do it consistently. I don't get it. I don't know what more evidence people need to fight back, and yet he refuses to go after his political enemies. With everyone yelling, so many people, commentators, pundits, editorial writers. I was watching John Solomon the other day. He was on with Sean Spicer on his show. Solomon can't believe that they haven't arrested mayors and governors of the states of Minnesota and other places where the courts would side with them People just scratching their heads over and over and over again about the lack of will to go after his political enemies. It's not going to end well for him, and it may not end well for us because of it. I mean, his administration runs out of gas in, what is it, 36 months, Eric? That his career is over, his political protection is over, his immunity is over. I mean, I don't get it unless he is a sadist. Or he has extremely low self-esteem, and the arrogance is designed in many cases to offset low self-esteem. I don't get how he thinks he's going to live out the rest of his life after he gets out of the White House. It's just bizarre to me that he has no gene of self-survival.
Yeah, I'm not sure what because he does get pissed. What was it? I forgot. Oh, like Greenland, boom, tariffs go to 200%. So he's very quick to react on some things. And
like with Harvard, he went back to $1 billion on Harvard, but those are merely negotiating techniques that he's developed over the decades. But
Harvard, this is a negotiating technique too. Social media,
but jail and indictments is not a social a technique of negotiation. They're not going to negotiate with him. They hate his motherfucking guts, and they are going to jail him the second he gets out of office. I don't know why he doesn't go after them, and it's the question of the 21st century for everybody.
Well, okay, that I agree on that. That's the second case, but I'm pointing out the like the tariff threats and things like that they could do now to help with the social media potential.
Oh, absolutely. You're talking about the EU and
which
the Mike
maybe
Pence
will
thing.
prevent him from losing everything and then going to prison. It can help the next guy.
Yeah, no, Mike Pence is right about that. I mean, the tariffs have to be done now. Look, everybody's estimating. Everybody I watch is estimating a 40 seat sweep in the House. 25 to 40 historically is usually about right. The Senate I predict will probably go as well. The conditions, they have bungled so much goodwill in terms of immigration and economic affordability by having mixed messages, multiple messengers. The messaging coming out of the White House is muddled every day. They've been on the defensive. They're constantly playing defense. I've never seen, like somebody said today, it's almost like they're intending to lose. I've never seen such incredible numbers and incredible activity be squandered so quickly by one political power as has happened with this administration. It's shocking, absolutely shocking, how bad this has gone in recent months.
I think you were watching two-way earlier. But anyway,
no, it's everywhere. I'm watching Jesse Waters. I'm watching Sean Spicer. I'm watching John Solomon. I'm watching, a dozen different prognosticators. Eric Erickson. I mean, I can't find anybody who says the opposite, Eric.
Yeah, I mean, it's in a trough, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's in a trough.
But hopefully it'll come out the other side. I don't know. And
well, hopefully,
I said hopefully, Mark hates it when I say hopefully, but.
Yeah, I mean, it's 9 months of hopefully. I mean, the midterms are coming up pretty fast. Those committee chairmanships are going to swing, and if these special elections are any kind of a bellwether, and sometimes they're not, we have not won any of them. You know what I mean? It's just one after another, and now they're saying it's D+6. A lot of these places that state election down in Texas was a swing of like 35 points. I mean, these are indicators. I mean, you can ignore the indicators and say nothing's going wrong, but I don't agree with that.
And by the way, chat, Mark isn't trying to black pill, and he's not trying to drive you to drink. He's actually,
I don't care what you do.
He's concerned, and he's like, it's easier to sound an alarm now and make a few shifts in messaging, a statement that we're pre-State of the Union address. Technically, Trump could come out, have a good message, get on message, and start driving for the next 9 months. So it's not necessarily saying that it's all over. I don't think you're saying that, right?
No, I am saying that. I want to be perfectly clear. I don't care what the chat thinks. These are just my opinions. I'm not here to black pill you, red pill you, or give you any kind of pills. At this moment in time, of course, as Eric says, this can change. I'm just telling you my opinion right now. In February of 2026, obviously things can change, but I'm not trying to do anything. I'm just telling you how it seems to me right this second.
Okay, well, fair enough. I mean,
Yeah.
hopefully the message gets out and he addresses it. I don't know. So, all right. So we're going to continue on the Nancy Guthrie story. I think you've been looking more into it than I have at this point, but what exactly is going on? Last I heard, they were looking at the brother-in-law, but then now the brother-in-law apparently has been taken off the board. No,
Yeah, that seemed like a
him.
MacGuffin. My favorite one is the guy who sent the phony text messages trying to shake them down. That guy has been arrested by the FBI, and I found that story to be fascinating. Not so much about this guy, Derrick Callella. It's a question of Derrick Callella's background. Derrick Callella, of course, here he is. He works for the Department of Health of Los Angeles County. He has been indicted previously this past year, literally a couple of months ago, for stuff taking people's unemployment insurance. He literally still works for LA County Department of Health. And
I didn't know he's still working there. He was getting the unemployment benefits. But
the benefits he stole were while he was on the job using the computers to get in there and do some cyber thievery, Eric. He was only charged with a misdemeanor because of the previous Marxist district attorney. So his day in court is coming up in March, having nothing to do with this. He was doing this while waiting to go to court on the previous charges, which even though he stole tens of thousands of dollars while on the job, this is not a guy who's unemployed. This was a guy working for the Department of Health, Los Angeles County. The people within the government are criminals themselves. They're not allowed to look at people's criminal backgrounds when they hire you. They get inside there, and now they've got access to so much information. So he was able to take unemployment insurance benefits and transfer them to himself. Of course, why this would be a misdemeanor, it's well over $10,000 in benefits. And now with this FBI thing on top of it, I'm sure he will do some time. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe they'll just charge him with sending nasty text messages. I don't know what you have to do to go to prison anymore.
Well, in LA?
Yeah, no, I'm serious. Yeah,
be a right winger. I don't know. I'm pretty
yeah.
sure that if he was a conservative or a Republican, I'm sure it would be taken care of. I bet he would be convicted of something. So
it looks like Loeffler's been out here and the Pacific Palisades with Lee Zeldin, who is apparently trying to take this thing over with the Palisades fire. She is dealing with SBA loan fraud during COVID, and they had a little press conference out in Pacific Palisades yesterday, and she says that it's $86 billion, Eric, just in SBA loan fraud. One particular separate, just one government agency was taken down for $86 billion. Newsom has no comment so far, other than to say it's a right-wing conspiracy.
Wow. Okay, to circle back though, what status do you know of? From what I understand,
5 o'clock deadline yesterday came and passed. It's supposed to be another 5 o'clock deadline today. They are now, according to Harvey Levin, taking that original ransom note that Harvey Levin received as legit. They poo-pooed it at first. It's now considered to be legit. Levin goes into some detail today on TMZ on how well it was constructed as literature. In fact, he said it was so well written that it had to be written by a highly educated person. It's got a 3-act structure to it. It's grammatically perfect. It has no spelling errors. He believes that. Again, I don't know, but the reality.
No, I'm just saying that I think you can write a grammatically perfect piece using AI.
Right, but there's all sorts of details within the thing. I don't know if you want to leave that on your computer for AI to be out there. I don't know. I'm not the kidnappers, but the reality of it is the letter itself seems to be really well written. And he believes that whoever wrote it was highly educated, whether it's a program or a man. And he came up with a concentric geographic circle about how far they would be away, because in the letter it says, we will bring her back after the money is transferred. When he says we will bring her back, this is the circle by Harvey Levin of driving at 60 miles an hour, returning her within a couple of hours. He rules out airplanes, of course, so he is assuming.
When you say couple of hours, you mean how many hours?
I think 2.
No. I could just tell you no. From Tucson, because I have lived there. There's no way. Tucson to Phoenix is 2 hours.
Right. No, I'm saying it might say a few hours. It might say hours. But in the letter it says we will return her within a few hours. So it's kind of vague. But he did this to see where a few hours would be in terms of geographic driving, and that's what he came up with.
Okay. Well, I can appreciate that, but I just from experience. You narrow that down.
I would, I would narrow it to a circle around Tucson, including the Mexican border. I would cut that down by 3/5, 4/5.
Yeah, it would not actually include Nevada,
me neither.
New Mexico,
I agree.
Arizona, and California.
I agree.
That's about.
Why would you bother to go that far? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. I think she's right below Tucson, right below the Mexican border there. That's my hunch, right there in a safe house.
That's Tucson to Mexico, through Nogales Way is an hour.
Right. That's why I think they went. They put her in a car, they took her to Nogales across the border. Nobody checks when you're going in. Eric and I were talking before the show. They're not intending on bringing her back because somebody's going to search the car. They could leave her at a safe house on the other side of Nogales and say this is where she is, but that would be the best case scenario.
From what I understand, though, there's no proof of life yet, right?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I mean, it's really, really suspect, and I agree with you. Getting her back into the country would just be a nightmare. They're asking for Bitcoin, which is completely digital, there's no exchange, and in any kidnapping, the exchange itself is the most dangerous thing. So returning her would be the most dangerous possible thing they could do at all, unfortunately.
Right, but it's a moot point now because they don't have to do the traditional handoff switcheroo of a traditional old school kidnapping to get a cash, a box of cash or a satchel. That is out now with
That's
crypto.
why I said returning her would just be adding risk for no reason.
Of course, absolutely. Like we said, Eric and I were talking about, the best case scenario would be when we receive the crypto, we will text you a place, an address where she is. That's the best case scenario.
Then there's other concerns that she didn't go with her medications. Those were all left behind. And these are kind of life. I don't know if it's what would be the right term, but she needs them to live. They're not like a.
That being said, you can get
of.
Those. I mean, Mexican
That's
drug
true.
cartels have access to drugs, Eric. I mean, whatever the drug is, I'm sure they could get it from their own pharmacies. I don't think she's on machines or anything. I think it may be a bigger problem than what it sounds, but she probably does need medication, I'm sure.
Right, and I did think about that a cartel could, strong arm a doctor, or probably
Of course,
has doctors on payroll in Mexico
Absolutely.
to get that if they're really that careful. So I
Right.
mean, I think it's very dire circumstances, unfortunately.
Yeah, this could drag out for a long time. There's again, there were 2 deadlines, one at 5:00 last night that passed, and there's supposed to be another one tonight. Now, the other question is, there's crackpot sheriff. The governor has gone to ground and disappeared of Arizona. The attorney general has disappeared from Arizona. This sheriff seems to be out on his own, and most rational people are saying, where the F is the FBI in this, taking over the press conferences, Eric? Where is Kash Patel or his deputies, which used to be Dan Bongino? This would have been a perfect case for Dan Bongino to get his teeth into if he was still doing it, where a deputy director holds these pressers every day. This crackpot sheriff, as Eric pointed out, is some Democratic DEI guy who won by a couple of votes and may be in there for 37 years if Eric's math on the last guy was correct.
The guy who was there, because I looked it up. I said, I remember somebody else. I couldn't remember his name, being there, like, a lot of my life. That's all I remembered is like, oh, it's always the same guy. I saw the same signs. Well, it turns out, yes, that was true. The previous sheriff of Pima County was Clarence Dupnick, who was there from 1980 to 2015, nearly 35 years. He resigned ahead of his, at the 34-year mark. He'd been elected like 7 times, some ridiculous number. And this guy took over for him. Dupnick recommended this guy. This guy wound up taking over the job. Dupnick was, in fact, a Democrat, very close with Gabby Giffords and crew there. Not a great representation, but I think more professional than this guy. He at least,
this guy, he may start weeping at any moment. Again, the FBI's got to take over. I understand they're saying they're taking over the case behind the scenes, but they need to put on a public face here to reassure the public that somebody rational is in charge of this mess.
Well, the really bonkers decision was that they cleared the crime scene, I think, like on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And then they said, oh, wait, never mind that. And then went back and reclaimed it. So there was like reporters walking all around saying, look at the blood spatter on I can't believe they didn't clean up the sidewalk and all of that. So it was really weird.
Where was the FBI at that point? I agree with you. I mean, they have to, in every TV crime procedural we've ever seen, they come in within 3 minutes of the crime, and that becomes the bane. What's that? Yeah, that becomes the bane of every single local law enforcement. This one, they don't show up for days.
No, and I agree. Somebody in the chat, the kidnapping is automatically an FBI case.
Of course,
I checked, especially of Ransom, and I don't know.
It's a lack of leadership. It's a lack of leadership on the part of. He didn't want anybody out there in front. Patel. He does not have control of every rank and file member of this organization, and I guess he doesn't feel comfortable having someone else doing this at this point. Is the best spin I could put on it for him.
Which is, again, that's also weird because this is not really it's not a partisan issue. This is a person who's kidnapped. She's an 84-year-old woman, and she's in danger.
I agree.
Not Republican, not Democrat.
Well, there is an angle to it. The president has weighed in. She is a fierce critic of the president. There is a political angle to it. Unfortunately, it's not a rando movie star kidnapping relative. It's a political operative and who works for NBC News, your arch nemesis that you have sued. So there is that angle, Eric.
Yeah, but I would, in my opinion, I would especially want the FBI to be uber professional in that case to show that, hey, even though you've been critical of the administration, we take your mother's kidnapping pretty damn seriously. And again, there's rank and file agents that are not political operators or up the chain of command who are very, very talented.
I can only point out to Schwerner Goodman and Cheney and J. Hoover getting involved in that case when they were killed down in Mississippi. There's a long history of political involvement in high-profile cases that have political oversight. The closest one I could think of was Goodman, Cheney, and Schwerner. The 3 boys who were killed in Mississippi, and how the administration at that time sent Hoover in there full blast to solve the case. And he did. Against
their enemies, right? He made sure that they solved the case. So let it as a good example. So I don't know what's going on. It's very odd. Let's go and change gears. This is at least some good news. Department of Transportation crackdown, putting hundreds of English illiterate illegal immigrant truckers off roads as crashes mount.
Wow. I think they picked up 500 in one day across the country. I mean, just astounding numbers of completely illiterate truckers. And I don't mean illiterate couldn't read. I mean, they didn't speak, read, or write English.
Right.
which you can't read a road sign, you can't do anything. I mean,
How do you get a CDL? It's just insane.
because of Newsom and other blue
know.
state governors that gave them out to illegal aliens. They just
know.
poo-pooed the literature part of the test. And now they're rolling around the country with these 10-ton freaking, missiles on snow-covered highways.
Yeah, and I guess I'm being selfish, but it makes me think I'm already paranoid anytime, and I know we've talked about it, driving on the interstate.
Oh, me too,
anytime
yeah.
that there's a truck next
Me
to
too.
me, I'm
too. Me
zooming
too.
forward as fast as I can.
Me too.
And I'm like going, please don't, please don't, please
No,
don't.
no, I do
Nobody
the
see a
same
blinker.
Dude, maybe I'm a coward, but I do the same thing.
I'm a coward. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'll take it. I'm a coward. But
Yeah.
but then there's that. It's like, well, I'd rather drive and than fly because I feel in control. But it's like, well, now what do I do? Because I don't like flying. We got Spirit Airlines and a big old mess and all that. But then when I drive, I fear for my safety on the road. Okay, I'm just never leaving the house. I'll
just don't leave the house. I mean, but yeah, I mean, at least the law enforcement part of the administration is functioning at a normal or super high level in terms of even ICE, ICE, Border Patrol, police. I mean, all of this stuff is working. Military control of the border. But it may be for naught, is the point I'm trying to make. This may be too little too late, Eric.
It might be, but by the way, the article, I guess it said there was 8,200 inspections across 26 states in a 3-day enforcement blitz.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean,
I think it was a 3-day sting operation. So operation something or other. They were hyper focused on that. I don't think they're going to keep it up, that level of vigilance, but they did take a massive number off the road.
Yeah, but the next place they could go is, for whom are these drivers working? Let's go into there. Let's go in the records. Let's see who's feeding you. Then go after the licensing groups or whatever. And, if they're getting into California, are given a license there. Boom, go after them.
Based on what I understand, they're independent operators who pick up loads day and night and just run loads back and forth. I think they're independents. They're not working for a trucking company, is my estimation.
All right. Well, I mean,
you can be. Most truckers.
How many times do you drive by a way station that's closed? Maybe we should open those and
why are they closed?
Catch them in there. Let's look at them at the way station.
Well, they obviously did a great job here. So whatever they're doing, keep it up. Tip of the hat to the ICC or whoever is in charge of this.
Yeah, totally agree. Now, okay, so FBI is not really looking into, or doesn't seem to vocally be looking into the Guthrie case. However, there's Benghazi.
Oh, yeah. This is another one that I have mixed feelings about. I completely appreciate the fact that they got this guy, from 2012. I completely appreciate that. But again, is this what you want to be focusing on as opposed to domestic crime like the Guthrie case? And I'm not saying the Guthrie case is, but I'm saying, and I pointed it out last week, that this administration seems to be focused on things like Greenland and Iran and Benghazi, and people don't
can control it. That's why
people don't necessarily like that domestically when shit is happening here. When you're doing this overseas, Eric, and I'm just generalizing here. I'm glad they got the guy, obviously, but I think like I said last week and today, I think he has to begin to hyper focus on domestic issues right here.
And I mean, I hate to be too cynical, but I kind of wonder. Like this guy, he's been floating out there in the wind now for 14 years. Yeah. All of a sudden. Like, this is probably, he was handed to us.
Yes,
he had to have been in one of the negotiations in the Middle East. Yeah, they said one of the countries said, "Here you go, take him,
take him." And there's probably money being exchanged of reward and stuff like that. The idea that they're hunting this guy around the world seems incredulous to me. Nevertheless, I'll take it. Big deal. I'll take the guy off wherever he was from, but again, we have to focus on stuff here, Eric. This is, again, another news story that doesn't help anybody.
And if you are, by the way, because there's claims that they are, well, then how about you put out some more press releases? Why don't we see, oh, hey, look at that. You wrapped up, 100 PDFs. Here's a list. Here's these arrests. We got 10 in the state, 10 in the state. And why not roll out some
Well,
of that
they
stuff?
had no problem getting a perp walk for this guy, showing him in manacles. I don't see any domestic versions of these things.
Yeah, I feel like we could see more. It would be definitely of use. And if you don't like that kind, well, we got drug people. There's lots of potential felons that you could be rolling out.
Well, that being said, getting to my version of the Epstein case, is two things I wanted to talk about if we go down that road. One is the CBS News release of their video analysis of the last night of Epstein's life on the earth. They now have a moment-by-moment video analysis of a inmate in an orange jumpsuit coming down the metal staircase towards his cell at 10:47 p.m. Bravo, tip of the hat to CBS National News for breaking this story late last night. There's now video of an inmate, supposedly an inmate, he's in an orange jumpsuit, going down the stairs. Again, nobody has ever mentioned this. This has never been cited by the prison. And apparently he's, headed towards Epstein's cell on that video.
Gee, does he resemble an incredibly large, extremely well-built former police officer, I wonder?
I don't know. It's kind of a blurry thing, but there's no way to ID the face and everything, but there's clearly an orange guy in an orange jumpsuit coming down the staircase to go to his cell, and as many people believe, eliminate him. The fact that, which somebody pointed out smarter than me, the idea that somebody would self-delete themselves, not knowing that the guards would be asleep or shopping online or doing stuff to allow him to do that, is really bad planning. If someone was planning, Eric, to self-delete, if you follow my rationale for this thing. The fact, because he would be interrupted by the guards immediately. He would have to know that, which is impossible, that they were sleeping, which is impossible that they were shopping online, which was that he would have to know all of these things to plan his self-deletion. And now CBS News has stayed on this story long enough to where video analysis is showing someone going down the stairs towards his cell.
All right, I saw the earlier CBS from a few months back, so I didn't see the new one.
Yeah, this is a new one.
Okay. One other thing that did come up is there was a supposed self-deletion attempt in July. I think it was like July 25th. Yeah. But there were some statements that have come up in the record that Epstein was saying no, that he was passed out. He didn't remember. He had amnesia from what happened. And there were questions about even that one, whether he really did attempt to, or somebody helped him along.
That was with the testosterone-laden ex-policeman from Westchester County, whose trial was coming up a month after the incident. He had committed mass murder and was looking for a break, and I believe he tried to strangle him in his cell. And
well, the funny part is, and I could be wrong here, is he may have screwed up. He sometimes, because people go unconscious or whatever, and he could have thought that Epstein or whoever it was, I'm not going to say
gone.
that guy.
Yeah,
I think it could have been like, oh, he's dead, walk away, and he happened.
Yeah, I always thought that he didn't finish the job. Now, keep in mind, he was a cop. He was a killer, but he was a cop, and he was this muscle-bound cop who would do anything to have his trial sentence reduced. Once he failed, and he did go to trial, by the way, he was sentenced to the maximum. So his failure to finish the job affected his sentence.
Yes, and by the way, there's a big fat allegedly under everything we say.
Yeah, this is
so everybody knows.
This is a theory. But there's apparently a real life type Epstein case going on now in real time with this guy, Timothy Busfeld, who was indicted by a grand jury this morning in New Mexico and in Albuquerque, and will stand trial on sexual attacks on these children. I don't hear people screaming about that for the Epstein people. For some reason, they don't care about Hollywood doing that to children. You don't understand, Mark. We're focusing on Epstein right now. You may want to focus on this case because it's happening in real time in your real lifetime with a real movie star. So that case is going to go to trial. I think he's out on bail now and with some restrictions.
Well, Otto from our locals definitely is focusing on it because
I mean,
what's up with the Busfield files?
Yeah, no, I've been on this case since the second it happened because it goes back a number of years with other potential complaints about him, and also the high profileness of him and his wife, her being the president of the Screen Actors Guild of America. I mean, these are not bit players in Hollywood. These represent the upper echelon of Hollywood. So if you're interested in Hollywood pedo storylines, you may want to focus on this.
Definitely. So, okay, while we're focusing on storylines, how about fiction of our past? And that's Wes Moore. And you pointed out that even Halperin's going out. And one thing I can point out about the fabulism, for people who are saying, there's no way anybody can go forward with this kind of crap behind them. I have one answer for all of you, and that is this guy named Joseph R. Biden, who was a complete plagiarist in the 80s, was run out of the presidential election, completely humiliated, and somehow managed to squeak in. So, Wes Moore, interesting guy. He's doing the same thing as Biden. It appears this guy named Rashard Ritchie that Nate the lawyer has done some videos on. This guy Rashard Ritchie is a doctor, and then that's not enough for him, so he had to make up all these degrees. So he's got quantum physics degree and this degree and that degree, and he's a lawyer and he's a doc. He did 5, I think it was like 5 senior level degrees in 1 year. I mean, it's just like a pile of degrees. I'm like, dude, you went from the streets or whatever, a really bad background, got a PhD.
That's cool.
That's good. There's your victory. You don't have to do any more. Well, Wes Moore seems to be like that too. He's it seems like a kid who kind of grew up rough, got into the military, has a somewhat okay military background, but he seems to be exaggerating every damn thing that he's doing, and it's like,
is exaggeration the right word, Eric?
Fabulism, lying. I mean,
fabulism. Is he stealing valor, for instance?
Potentially. Well, hey, Tim Waltz, was doing a little of that, it seemed. But like this whole thing with his grandfather.
This is crazy. This is
maybe
crazy.
He was hanging out with him, with Pam Grier, and he's worrying about that. I don't know, but supposedly his grandfather ran away from the Ku Klux Klan, except apparently his great grandfather was highly respected in the area, and they kind of gave him a promotion, saying, "Hey, Jamaica's open. Do you want to take over that?" And the guy was like,
as a preacher,
sure.
as a
preacher,
as a preacher, yeah.
So he was like promoted out of the area.
Well, I think Halperin's bitterness comes from the fact that this is my interpretation of it, there are 19 climate change journalists. There were 19 climate change journalists on the Washington Post. Now there's 5. So 14 climate change journalists got laid off, but none of them had the temerity or time to research the story that this minor newspaper, the Washington Free Beacon, right across the street from Town Hall, was able to research and discover about the governor of Maryland. Washington Post has still not commented on this front page story.
And it's a local paper, technically, for Maryland.
Right. They're very busy, and the Washington, the city bureau was run by a guy named Bob Woodward for many years. as Eric recalls, and Woodward came out defiantly today, defending the Washington Post integrity and everything, blah, 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 blah. But still, this is just an example of why they're going out of business, because they intentionally ignore stories the size of Gibraltar right in their own fucking backyard. Who weeps for them now? I mean, they want another billionaire, another sap billionaire to come in and replace Jeff Bezos to pay them for their socialist empire, phony journalism school. It's insane, Eric. It's absolutely insane. It's surprising that Bezos took this long to pull the plug on him.
Well, by the way, good for Bezos. He's like, he bought this as a little, hobby. I feel like, I got my own paper.
Yeah.
And then he's like, it was so screwed up that he finally put his foot down saying, no, we can't be doing that shit. But I think he got bored of it. So he's back on his yachts. And
he's back on his yacht.
Never mind.
He's with his wife trying to pick out the next James Bond. So they're
Exactly.
quite busy. Yeah, they've got other priorities with Amazon and MGM. That being said, they are railing against him for not endorsing Kamala Harris for president, which he didn't do, thereby connect the dots, losing some liberal subscriptions, thereby causing the death of the Washington Post. And if only he would, I swear to God, I mean, these attempts by the employees to manufacture some sort of logic out of their dystopian, phony, socialist bubble world of a newspaper is laughable, absolutely laughable.
Well, this is beyond hilarious because that would be implying that Kamala Harris lost Washington, D.C., which I guarantee she beat Trump by at least 30 points, maybe more. I guarantee 70. She won Maryland quite clearly. She won Northern Virginia and actually won the damn state of Virginia. So exactly what did his non-endorsement, because he endorsed nobody. He didn't endorse Trump.
Right.
He just said, we're not endorsing.
Yeah.
We're just out of the business. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. They're grasping at straws. Yeah, they believe by law he is and has to supply his hard-earned money to support this hemorrhaging paper. Again, their outrage is so hysterical. The demands of this particular man that he must continue to lose his fortune to allow them to live in this bubble world is breathtakingly funny. Or now find another billionaire friend to come in and have him lose millions and millions of dollars a month. Wow.
You know what? They can always reply like they did with Elon Musk, because Elon Musk bought Twitter. That was after Bezos bought. And what did they do? Oh, they came up with Blue Sky. Well,
yeah.
Nobody cares about that. They came up with Threads. Oh, wait, nobody cares about that. So, well, you could build another newspaper to replace the Washington Post.
Well, somebody to build on that. Somebody, their GoFundMe is now up to $250,000 for moving expenses for these people to move out of their expensive condos. So they have a GoFundMe for all the laid off people that's up to $300,000 or $400,000 already.
Wow. What was the world like without GoFundMe? I mean, I look at GoFundMe.
Dude, I've been laid off before by media publications. Nobody GoFunded me. I just had to get another apartment.
Yeah. Yeah, or somebody's couch,
or somebody's couch.
How bad things were. Sometimes
these people,
like,
I mean, their statements on Twitter are so bold. They're literally in shock. They're paralyzed with fear. One chick was a war correspondent in Kiev. She said, "I'm covering the war, and now I was laid off." I'm going, "Hey, honey, put your plane on your credit card and go back to your mother's house. What is so difficult?"
I'm sure you can still work in Kiev.
If you want.
You're independent. It's cheap. Probably the cost of living is cheaper. I don't know.
I mean, this argument is 10 years old, by the way. This, collapse of paper, newspaper, print paper money jobs has happened 10 years ago. When the LA Times started doing it and they started to clean house at these publications, they found out that literally editorial columnists were making $500,000 a year for a weekly column. It was so out of proportion. When I found out the sports column salaries of weekly sports columnists or daily sports columnists, I was shocked that the newspapers hadn't collapsed earlier.
I am too.
250,000 a year was a typical salary.
I mean, well, it's not only them, but it's also the networks. I mean, how much is Rachel Maddow making now for one day? Yeah, I mean, it's like I don't know where they're getting the damn money.
I agree.
It's mind blowing.
Yeah, it's not coming from print ads, that's for sure.
All right, well, I want to stay topical.
Go ahead.
And
Go ahead.
The Olympics, they're going now. Opening ceremonies are today, quite literally. So,
Oh, wow.
I have a very important story coming out of the Olympics that I have to share with everybody. We now have a second penis gate.
Oh, boy.
Now, I don't know if you're familiar with this story, but
I'm not familiar with it.
Jumping world is in an uproar over penis gate.
What is penis gate?
What is happening is apparently, and I'm not going to get the figures exactly right, folks, so just don't go quoting me on exact measurements, but essentially with the ski jumping, the idea is they catch air and then they float for a long time and then land.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's so precise and scientifically perfect that 2 centimeters of extra material in a uniform essentially will cause them to go up to 5% higher and like 8 meters or so longer on the jump. And what it is they are, shall we say, injecting their junk with a type of acid to swell it. So then when they try on the uniforms, it's bigger. And then when they actually compete, it's a little extra loose material
in the crotch area?
In the crotch area.
Oh, for the love of
is
God.
giving them the extra little bit.
Oh,
for
my
the
Lord. My Lord.
As Scott H said, yes, it's official. Size does matter.
Wow. Wow. What a dick move.
It absolutely is. Absolutely is.
Well, it's going to take away and change the vernacular of having one by a nose.
Yeah.
They're going to have to change the appendage to some other appendage.
Yeah, I've heard of a bleep hair before, but not winning by a crotch.
Right. Wow.
That is definitely a new one. So I had to share that.
Thank you for that. It's good to know.
It's the important, hard-hitting news.
Good to know. Had that story out of the way.
And I do have another Olympic story, which is probably not as exciting, but it's about the upcoming Olympics. Apparently, Casey Wasserman's I guess he's in the Epstein files all over. And Karen Bass has been ducking calls to sack the guy for, I guess, handling the buildup for the Olympics in 2028.
Well, it's kind of interesting because Halpern was pointing out this morning how many rando names, without any explanation, are redacted. Just names in the middle of these files of just name after name after name after name. Apparently, thousands of names have black lines through them for no legal reason. What he was saying was the names of the victims have been redacted upon agreement beforehand.
Apparently they weren't at first, and like several hundred pages with their name. I guess when they first released it, and good job, Bondi and crew.
Yeah,
they released victim names unredacted, perpetrator names redacted in the same documents, and then they're like, whoa, take it down. So then they had to pull them all back and then redact. It's very, very confusing.
Yeah, like I'm saying, Grace Jones and Mick Jagger are in there. Do you want to indict them now? I mean, this guy was an international.
Naomi Campbell or Grace?
Naomi Campbell, rather. I thought it was Grace Jones. Naomi Campbell, Mick Jagger are in there too. What do you want to do to them, folks? What do you want to do? You want to indict Mick Jagger now for being in the Epstein file? Oh yeah, look at that. There it is. There it is. The guy was an international jet setter. I've said this since the day the scandal broke. I don't know what people are looking for. I don't know what they expect. There's hundreds of thousands of people that this guy hung with all around the world for decades. And these names are in there because he knew everybody. Again, unless you're going to indict Mick Jagger, I don't know where this goes. Just
Well,
every day
Mick,
having a name come out. This is something like a witch hunt.
That's Mick with Bill in there too.
Yeah,
Mick,
yeah.
Bill, and it is a hard one when you
He's
are
an international.
talking about,
Well, Mick Jagger gets a pass because I like his second album. Somebody's going to. I mean, what do you do about this? Where do you draw the line, folks?
yeah. Oh, and somebody in the chat. Oh, shut up. The rapists need to be indicted. Okay, so are you saying that definitively because Mick Jagger was sitting at a table with Jeffrey Epstein, he did this?
Yeah. Go after Mick Jagger, bro. Tell me why he needed. Oh,
now they're saying he should have been arrested years ago.
Yeah.
He probably was, for drugs and other things. And I know he had some intimate time with David Bowie, I believe. And there's a lot of.
The point of the matter is the guy, besides his nefarious stuff that he did, he was an international jet setter, mingling with these people around the world for decades. And the names alone are not enough to mean anything. I know this sounds incredibly harsh, people, but I don't know what else to say.
Well, it gets hard. I mean, because yes, he was a bundler. He was a fundraiser. I mean, and
he was also
a lot of money.
He was also an international jet setter and party guy.
Absolutely. All right, I have another story that is crazy and just shocking.
Right.
One of my biggest fears, in like a horrible way to die, would be self-immolation. I'm like, that's just like one of those, like, just the thought of it is like, yeah. Well, there's an Olive Garden cook who came up with another method that's going to go on my list of, oh my God, I can't imagine that. And he decided to take himself out by dipping his head in a fryer.
Oh, stop it. Stop. Dipping his head in what?
A fryer.
Oh my God.
Have you ever worked in a kitchen, a commercial kitchen?
When I was in high school, yeah, it's been a while.
Okay, well then, so you know what I'm talking about, and it just sends, well, I'd say chills down my spine, but it's kind of the opposite. A deep oil fryer, dipping his head in,
And I like the Olive Garden. I actually think it's moderately priced and fairly good food for what it is. So I don't blame the Olive Garden for this.
Well, that's not.
No, I'm saying he wasn't working under draconian slave-like conditions at the Olive Garden, was he? Was that his
even
reason?
If he was, you can't walk out.
I didn't see that at the Olive Garden. I thought it was a pretty mellow run place.
Yes.
They give you a lot of bread, and they give you that electronic device to let you know when your meal's coming.
They do. Well, a lot of the electronic devices are there. One of my favorite devices, I mean, if we're going to talk electronic devices, when I went to Canada a few years back, they had it there, and it's finally rolling out here in Virginia, where they come up to the table with a machine, and you put your credit card in the machine. I love those. Or you just do Apple Pay. Rather than give them the credit card, they go run in the back, do God only knows, write down all the numbers, whatever they're going to do.
Oh,
I love that. They come up, hey, here it is. You go, you're done. You walk out the door. I love that.
Okay.
That's some good technology.
They already put 18% gratuity on your bill, and they're asking you for another 20, though, Eric. What do you do?
Well, okay, there is that.
Now you're fighting with the woman.
I don't go out to dinner that much anymore because I can't afford it. But anyway,
I mean, that's a standard thing now. Apparently, they just put the 18 on and then ask you for an additional 20 once they present the bill to you. And I looked at it and I go, wait a minute, there's 18 on here already. Isn't that it? What do you want? 2%? There was a Curb episode where the 18 was on there and the guy was asking him for an additional gratuity. And he said, I can't do the math. The guy wasn't asking for 2%. But he was saying, what do you want me to do? Put 2% on here and round it up to 20%? It's a little tricky mathematics.
Yeah. And those who were saying I live in the 50s, give me
50s, you weren't even born yet.
And no, I wasn't born yet, and they're dumb. I mean, I love you to death, but you guys can be dumb sometimes. Good God. All right. We've talked about nurses. I actually meant to bring this up on Tuesday, but it didn't come up. We have this guy, Chad.
It's always a Chad, isn't it? A hanging Chad.
Well, there's the Chad, which is supposed to be like an uber masculine person. This
Right.
is not one of those.
This is the other
not,
one.
This is not that Chad. This is a Chad, not a Chad.
Oh, this cat. Oh, yeah.
So
This guy he looks normal.
Yeah, and this is he's a nurse, so
Right.
So obviously, what he's saying is going to be
The nurses.
How much power nurses have in this country?
Yeah.
One of our own was just murdered in the street.
Damn.
So we might be able to stop this somehow.
Oh, no. Uh-oh.
Thoughts?
Uh-huh.
Good morning. Did you know most ICE agents don't wear their plates properly? I've seen it.
You know, as the type of ICU nurse I was cardiac ICU nurse.
Whoa.
And I did a lot of time, lots of hours holding on a groin that wouldn't stop bleeding. Let me tell you what, that femoral artery.
femoral, I thought, but okay.
Well, whatever.
Those veins in the legs. I can't remember what it's called. It's late in my shift. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
I know it.
Yeah.
I'm tired.
I know.
Anyway.
You had a long day.
The vasculature in the leg, it really bleeds.
Really?
Bleeds well. Someone could bleed out very quickly from that. Probably like a couple of minutes, really.
These people are mentally ill. This is a sin. This is a sin. These are mentally ill people. I mean, they shouldn't be allowed to even be on TikTok or any have a job working with actual human beings. I mean, the fact that these nurses and people have explained to me that certain types of people gravitate to certain types of jobs based on their own mental illnesses.
No, that's like not most, but many psychologists are crazy people who study their conditions.
Right. I mean, Boy Scout leaders who are secretly gay, taking the boys on a camping trip and then, doing stuff to them. I mean, there are people who gravitate to certain priests, doing stuff. There are people who gravitate to certain jobs for reasons that may not be related to the job itself, but more about having access to certain things.
That's true. And the priest thing obviously is very, very hot topic, at this moment. But I do feel like, and somebody in the Catholics can straighten me out, but I'm like, wouldn't a lot of that problem go away if you just let them be married? It's like, it's kind of a system designed in a weird way to attract a certain type. But anyway, what quick update on him.
On this guy, yeah. What happened to this guy?
He released a video a couple days back, I guess, claiming that he's no longer employed.
Oh my God!
So,
what a breath of fresh air for the rest of us. I mean, imagine you wake up from surgery and there's that guy hovering over you, saying, "I looked at your social media. I didn't like it."
Yeah, I noticed you came in with a MAGA hat.
Well, not even MAGA hat. I mean, they have your name. I mean, these guys are so fucking nuts. They probably Google every single fucking patient who's laying on a table in front of them to find out what their opinions are. I wouldn't put it past them in a second. They just put your name into a search engine and comes up. Say, oh, this guy's a Trump guy. Let's fuck him up, boys. Are you kidding? They probably do that all day.
True. And those who are in the chat saying, marriage doesn't guarantee. I'm not saying it guarantees.
No,
I'm saying that it would attract a lot of people who probably are not necessarily doing.
Lenny Bruce once famously said the difference between a rabbi and a priest is both SHIT, but only one FUCKs.
There you go. So I'll let Mark have that one. All right. Have we talked about this case? Because this actually kind of goes in with the Mike Benz situation. And this is actually from it's 3 days ago. I can't keep up with the dates, but Elon's French offices.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned at the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Go on.
I mean,
No, go ahead.
it's an obvious concern. You know what? I think we did talk about, because I mentioned how
Yeah.
Rumble pulled out of
We mentioned
France
it
as well as
on
Brazil.
Tuesday, and
That's
we're
right.
mentioning it again today, but you're not mentioning it enough as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it's a obviously major concern.
Well, because there's been no response also on the part of the administration, Eric. There's been no ambassadorial response. There's been no legal response. There's been no threat, nothing.
Which is weird. I don't know. Not even much from Elon about it. I feel like he's not even talking it.
Well, he did tweet a little. I read some tweets about it, but yeah.
Well, it reminds me of I forgot who the other guy was, but there was a guy who had a stopover in France. Remember, he was like flying to Russia, stopped in France, and they arrested him as soon as he hit the ground.
Yeah, that was the
France.
Telegraph guy.
Telegram.
The guy who owned Telegram, right?
That's right. Yes,
Yeah.
which is another social media platform.
Yep.
So,
They were testing the waters. They're fishing. Nobody went to war for that guy.
no. And
I mean, I'm telling you, we're up at the entire battle right now is with the Soviet European Union and versus us in a Cold War. That is the battle right now. They are trying to put together their own armies. They have nuclear weapons. They have a central bank. The voting rights of their members is highly suspect. The leadership of the countries remind me of the Warsaw Pact nations that had presidents, Eric, in the 60s and 70s and 80s that were subservient to Moscow. The mirror image of the Soviet Union is the European Union. That's why I call it the Soviet European Union, because it is exactly the same mirror image of the former USSR.
appears that way.
And if they're going to take down our elections in June and July and August, we have to do something now preemptively to prevent that from happening.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Swinging back to DHS, Minneapolis. Apparently, they are finally going to be deploying body cameras.
Well, he was opposed to
like.
this, Trump. Trump was the one who was opposed to having the body cameras, and I never really understood that. They were trying to imply it was budgetary, but it really wasn't. He was just fighting an old battle that has been resolved many years ago with law enforcement.
Yeah, I personally like body cameras because they help. Okay, yes, they do point out when cops go overboard, but very often they save the cops bacon.
Yeah.
I mean, there's entire body cam channels and they're very educational. Yes, I'm addicted to some of them, to look at the assholes that are out there that the cops are dealing with. And I think a lot of people coming away from watching those videos are sort of like, well, I would never, ever, ever beat the person or suggest beating the person, but I surely would want to beat that person.
Look at the Mandami case yesterday. This maniac with a knife came at the cop. The body cam footage shows that he had to shoot him, came at him with a butcher knife, wounded the guy. Mandami goes to the hospital to help his family grieve and mourn, not to the cop. He goes to the knife-wielding maniac that he now wants to send social workers to deal with this, so the cops won't be able to shoot a guy with a giant butcher knife, but the social worker will somehow be able to talk the guy down with the butcher knife unarmed. I mean,
did you watch that video too?
Did I
watch? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, because the significance, it was such a clean sheet. The cop actually closed the damn door between them. It was like the cop, you could just tell in every way that cop did not want to shoot the guy. He was doing everything possible.
Ridiculous.
Closing the door.
Yeah.
And yeah, man.
You see the size of the knife?
Yeah, it was a freaking chef's knife. A full blown. And by the way, it wasn't only the cop in danger. His mother was right there, or some female relative. And who called the cops to begin with? His own family.
Of course.
What would a social worker do? How would a social worker?
Oh, they would talk to him about Margaret Mead and how she worked with the monkeys, and I have no idea. You know, Al Gonzalez told me the bulk of the times that he had to deal with this up in Fort Apache in the Bronx would go bad most of the times where they would just spiral out of control. It's the most dangerous, emotional person calls are the most dangerous calls for anybody in law enforcement. It's the most dangerous call for law enforcement.
Yeah,
let alone the social
through somebody being like that. Yeah.
Right. That's for them. It's the most dangerous call.
Oh, yeah.
So what Mandami wants to do is take the most dangerous law enforcement calls off the board and give them to social workers from Vassar.
Well, you know
What could go wrong?
He doesn't care about the people who are living outside in the weather, and they can die. Maybe,
Dude,
maybe
did you hear his Mohammed speech yesterday about allowing Muslim immigrants to come to the United States? I mean, holy crap! He didn't wait 30 days until he started. He's talking about Muhammad being an illegal alien and Muslims going around the world in 1652. I mean, what the hell is he talking about there?
You know what? Let me pull that up.
I don't know if you have that, but I watched it this morning. I was shocked, Eric. I mean, people are just now scared, getting afraid. But I mean, what power does he
get
have?
afraid before you vote the guy in, people.
Yeah.
I mean, good God. Okay, so let's see what he has to say in his wisdom.
Wow.
This guy. Oh boy.
Keep in mind, this is the mayor of a city.
Yes.
I think of the freedom from suffering that Buddhism teaches us is only possible if we remove the three poisons of desire, hatred, and ignorance from our daily lives. We need not accept suffering as unchangeable. We need not treat hatred as the natural state. We have the power to set ourselves free. And I consider my own faith, Islam, a religion built upon a narrative of migration. The story of the Hijrah reminds us that Prophet
always built on migration, all right. It's called the Caliphate. They move in and take over, and
that's right. They don't move out. They don't move out. They move in.
Oh no. Yeah, exactly. And by the way, once they establish a presence in any land, if they lose it, no, it's still part of their land. In their tradition, they will always go forever after it.
Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was a stranger too, who fled Mecca and was welcomed in Medina. Surah An-Nahl 1642 tells us, as for those who immigrated in the cause of Allah after being persecuted, we will surely bless them with a good home in this world. Or as the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Islam began as something strange and will go back to being strange.
No kidding.
Glad tidings to the strangers.
Right on, brother.
If faith offers us the moral compass to stand alongside the stranger, government can provide the resources. Let us create a new expectation of City Hall, where power is wielded to love, to embrace, and to protect. We will stand with the stranger today.
Now you realize that 9/11 is 25 years old this September.
It's just shocking.
You have this before and after.
There's a guy who's 102 years old in Israel who's considered the smartest guy in Israel, and he survived the Holocaust. He fought to help establish the state of Israel. He was talking about the fact that the Islamic movement has now led to them becoming the new empire around the world. This may last 100 to 300 years, according to him. And I was watching this guy the other night. He's totally coherent, totally sharp, 102, talking about how they have gone from country to country to country. Christians are now gone in the Middle East from every single country that used to have Christian majorities. They're doing the same thing in Western Europe. And he said the last bastion of democracy may indeed be Israel at the end of the day. That's what he was saying. But the point of the matter is, talking about their movement around the world, the French yesterday are now legalizing their illegal Muslim aliens to vote, Eric, a la Spain. So this may be the end of French democracy.
That's like
following
what
in the Spanish
is doing here. It's consolidating their wins, and But yeah,
But the
we've
amount
got
of
the-
illegals who are Muslims in Spain from the Middle East and North Africa will now have the right to vote in France, and they will, as 75% of the cities in the UK already have Muslim mayors in the UK. This is the French footage. Let's take a look at this.
Je mets aux voix la proposition de loi dans son intégralité. Qui est pour?
I wish there were subtitles.
These are all non-Muslim white people voting to turn over their country
Qui est
to
contre?
Muslims who have
Elle est donc
do not have the right to vote
adoptée.
yet.
Je vous remercie.
They're passing a resolution to give them
Merci,
the
Madame
right
la
to vote in
rapporteure.
France.
Nous allons passer immédiatement
They're applauding their own
au
death.
texte
They're
suivant.
importing their own
Sans suspension.
self-deletion.
Yeah.
It's an astounding thing to watch. It's historic. It's unbelievable to see. This is French capitulation on the scale of the Nazis in 1940 marching into Paris. So they do have a long history of this, but holy cow, these guys aren't firing a shot.
Just
At least the Nazis
Yeah.
fired guns.
yeah, and at least there's a resistance. Yeah.
Well, they do not. Their hatred of free speech, getting back to the Michael Benz thing, is their Achilles heel is free speech. So they need to stop us from having a candidate or candidates that will be advocates of free social media speech. Otherwise, their whole house of cards crumbles. You can't allow a single light to burn in the barn that will highlight their incredible draconian policies. It has to be snuffed out. And that's why the Mike Benz thing was so important.
Well, and that's already been proven out. I know I've said it numerous times, but Elon Musk buying Twitter broke that. Before that, every social media together was suppressing all speech.
Yeah.
Once you have one free, it's over because there's
you
a free
you
one,
can't
and
run
you
your
can't-
show. You can't run your show. Men
Exactly.
can have babies then. I mean, it's all of your stuff becomes, it's not about the science of what they're saying. It's about their power in enforcing any crazy thing that they say is truth. That's the difference between a Marxist administration and one based on free speech. They will say what the truth is and then enforce it legally, physically, financially, and psychologically. That's the difference. And that's the threat to the EU, which is a complete Marxist USSR Soviet state at this point.
Well, and again, that said, the green-red coalition or whatever. The irony about it, though, is these idiots who are bringing them in to supposedly consolidate their power don't realize they're just going to go later. All they're doing is delaying their own elimination.
Absolutely.
They're bringing in their own executors, if you will.
I mean, the Muslims have made no bones about that. They've said publicly they're going to get rid of them and take power. I mean, it's a ridiculous situation. If you look at the UK, where 75% of the cities have Muslim mayors, that's it. It's over. It's over. It's over. My talking about it is not a black pill. I mean, this is the reality of the world. Halpern was talking about the same thing. He's being attacked when he mentions how he perceives the world. And I feel the same way. When you have these numbers lining up around the world, this is the beginning of a new Muslim empire around the world. There have been different empires, Eric, as you're well aware, throughout world history. This is the
Ottoman
beginning.
Empire at one point. I mean,
Of
there's been a precedent.
Of course. This is the beginning of their new empire.
Again, it's
preventable.
mind-boggling, and I want to point out that the 75% of the mayors, it's not just 75% of the cities, it's all the large cities.
Yeah.
So the 25% who don't have it are smaller cities.
Right.
So it's like London, all the big ones, already gone. So it's really
Right. That's why the Mandani thing is so important to them, because it has the best of both worlds. He could speak about Muhammad and the transitory Muslims going around the world, whatever they're doing, and he's also a Marxist. So he's the best of both worlds in one person.
The Red Green Alliance.
In one guy,
Yep.
Eric. Yeah.
All right. So, all right. Well, let's.
It's best if everyone ignores it. I think that's probably the best thing. Just ignore all of this, and it'll go away.
Okay. Well, I'm going to ignore it now and talk about a movie coming up. You shared
Really?
here.
What?
Yeah. Let's go to Hollywood. Benedict Cumberbatch to star in the thriller Last Flight.
Yeah, I said this. I was hinting on this this week on my show that this is yet another spook film. This is the second major spook film to come out of Hollywood in the past year. This one, and I'm saying that one battle after another. The DiCaprio film, directed by PTA, was a spook film, and this has all of the earmarks of a spook film. When I say spook film, it's usually a political subject. It's usually got sketchy production companies. It's usually money coming from sources that would not normally put money up for these films. Cumberbatch, of course, was involved in another spook film about the taking down of Julian Assange. He has a history of doing these. Alex Gibney is part of this loop.
Well, he did Turning too, right? So
excuse me?
He did Alan Turing.
Yeah, he's been a go-to guy for these spook films for a number of years. That being said, they've been specializing in documentaries for the past 20 years, and now, with One Battle After Another, have returned to dramatic feature political spook films, which I haven't seen in a long time. And this is the second one to come on my radar recently.
All right. Well, I hope it's at least entertaining.
They usually are. I mean, they usually are because they're putting a lot of money into it. But, One Battle After Another has now lost whose ever money it was, $150 million, and has 13 Oscar nominations. I've never seen a combination like that in film history.
Is only possible.
Well, hey, whatever it is, good to know. Let me see.
This is about the guy who flew people out of Afghanistan. If I'm correct about this, was involved in handpicking the people who were rescued from Afghanistan.
Okay.
The plot of that film.
Okay. All right. Well, while we're on it, we've got another story here you sent. I guess the Daily Show is now starting to go after Newsom.
Yeah, I thought that would be of interest to our audience. It's never happened before. I don't know if they're going to continue doing this. But yeah, they did do some comedy beef against him. So who knows? Maybe they're just desperate for material.
It could be that, or I do think that there is a pretty large left-wing contingent. Like for one, it has been pointed out that black women don't like him.
Okay.
Period. So, and how many times have you said that the Democratic Party is black women? So if he doesn't have black women and he can't convert them,
right,
then maybe they're trying to kneecap him right now.
Well, there's a reason his new book is coming out, and the first stop on his book tour is South Carolina. South Carolina is about 43rd in the country in reading in school. They have one of the worst education systems in the United States. One of the most illiterate states in the United States, as I said, about 43rd, 44th, 45th in ranking. Yet this book tour is opening in South Carolina because it's the first, it's one of the early states in the Democratic primary machine, which is why he's going there to win over those black women. We'll see if he speaks with a black patois down there and talks about grits and various other things, as Hillary and many others have done.
I don't think he will. He went to South Carolina before, and Clyburn embraced him. And
Clyburn's going to embrace him again. Yeah, that's why he's going down
but
there.
that was significant for his launch on that.
Yeah.
And those who are saying Clyburn, just remember Joe Biden, because remember, South Carolina, Clyburn, endorse Biden. Boom, Biden wins. Everybody drops out. Moving on.
Yeah, he's going to go open his book tour there and then go to New York, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. You have to say to yourself, why are you going with this book tour to South Carolina first? That doesn't make sense. And it's because of the Democratic primary system. And those black women there who vote long and often. Now, the entire fate of the Republic apparently depends on the SCOTUS ruling on the configuration of the voting districts now, because they handed him a huge victory, Newsom, by ruling that everything he did with Proposition 50 is completely legal. and he will now eliminate any red congressional districts in the state of California, immediately going to work on that, having been given the green light by the Trump Supreme Court, which led me to believe that they are going to rule against birthright citizenship and against redistricting in that particular case. Yeah, of course, if they do rule in favor of redistricting before the midterms, we could salvage the House of Representatives. I don't think they're going to do it. I think they're going to drive a stake through this.
Slow walk it.
They're going to drive a stake through this country.
They're going to slow walk it past the midterms, and then they'd be like, okay, you got it now, but whatever. They've already got the majority.
No, I think they're going to rule quickly and against it. I don't even think they're going to slow walk it. I think everybody's waiting for this ruling. So again, I think it's coming fast, and based on how quickly they ruled on the Newsom case, they didn't slow walk that. He's now dismantling any Republican presence in the state of California congressionally. There's going to be absolutely no representation when he's done with it in a couple of weeks.
Well, enjoy your stay.
Yeah. There's 40% of Republicans here, and they'll have 0% representation. And yet we're supposed to believe this is legal.
It is bonkers for sure. All right, well, we're on that. We're talking about the future parties. You sent me this. It's another Harry Inton clip, and he's talking about MAGA. So let's see what's up with that.
So how much power, and we're talking about influence here, do they have on the GOP, especially over the long run?
Yeah, over the long run. That's what I think is so important here. And it's not just about Donald Trump. It's about the Make America movement. Again, that's what we're talking.
Make America movement again?
Make America movement again.
That's what I heard him say.
Mama.
Now, Make America Great Again movement. And it is as powerful as it has ever been. Because I want you to take a look here. GOP who view MAGA favorably. 2 years ago, when Donald Trump was running for term number 2, it was 74%. Today, look at this. It's 78% of Republicans who view the Make America Great Again movement favorably. So we're talking about something that, in my opinion, will very much be able to outlast Donald Trump. Trump is in term number 2. He can't run for a term number 3. But the bottom line is this. What he brought into the GOP looks like it's going to last long beyond him.
It's a very populist movement. I am curious because J.D. Vance would then be the next standard bearer of this movement. Where is the GOP on how they feel about him?
Yeah, okay. So, obviously J.D. Vance, the vice president of the United States, at this point looks like a favorite for the Republican nomination come 2028. And one of the reasons why he looks like a favorite is because the Republican base loves J.D. Vance. What are we talking about here? Someone who really represents the Make America Great Again movement. This is somebody a year ago, his favorable rating among Republicans, 81%. Latest Marquette University Law School poll, look at this, 84%. 84%. So if anything, his favorable rating is somewhat up from where it was a year ago after a year of Trump. And of course, that matches what we see when it comes to MAGA, right? It matches what we see coming to MAGA, whereby it was 74 and now it's 78%. If anything, MAGA's grip on the GOP, and it seems like the next in line to be the next standard bearer of MAGA, both of them, their favorable ratings are actually up after a year of Donald Trump's second term.
One issue I have with that is I don't know for sure if that's going to hold up, because we're seeing these special elections, like what happened in Texas. Trump won that by a pretty large number. Republican behind can't do it. And then Trump outperformed Republicans in state after state after state after state. So if it was MAGA alone and Trump was just the forerunner, then one would think that all the MAGA candidates would also be up there. But I'm hoping that is the case. But I think they may be a little more optimistic in terms of.
Well, that's just favorability. That may not transfer to an individual race in the middle of Indiana where Mike Pence is undermining a particular election. I mean, it may not translate to
also, it's not the independents.
It's not the independents, which are 40% that voted, crossed over with Democrats for him during the election. This is just straight up registered Republicans.
Yeah. So I mean,
So
it's nice, but I would like to have others too to know for sure that it's going to continue. So I don't know. That's just my opinion. Yes, I'm a wet blanket. Mark's a bigger wet blanket. He was darker than
I don't know what a wet blanket is, but nevertheless, again, the best news for these fat bastards, including myself, who watch this show, is Trump reducing the prices on Ozempic and Wegovy from $1,900 to $149 a pill. This may be possibly one of the greatest medical movements in terms of if you look at obesity as being one of the number one and number two medical problems in the United States, which it is. This move by Trump today may be one of the greatest moves he's ever made for physical health of Americans. The reduction of this price on these pills and the injections, literally 95% reduction in costs with this bill, is going to save so many lives, combined with everything else he's doing with drug interdiction, illegal drug interdiction. This thing here, this move by him making this bill. Now, up until now, only the elites have been able to get their hands on it because it's been so expensive. Mm-hmm. This will allow regular working class fat bastards in Asheville, in Virginia, in Iowa, in Wisconsin, in Los Angeles, to begin to lose weight and begin to live longer lives. And I strongly urge people to get their hands on this while it's this cheap and while you're still alive, and begin to take care of this obesity situation.
I definitely want to clarify in that, and this is my opinion, we may differ. I hope that people who are extremely morbidly obese, like extreme high, are good, are better candidates for that versus people who are overweight or whatever, who hopefully can lose the weight on their own, because there are some big problems with Ozempic. It's been coming out more and more and more with these drugs, some really nasty side effects and things. And I do get it. If somebody's 600 pounds, they're so far outside the line that it could be potentially something that may save their lives. But I do worry that the vanity factor could come in and it could harm some people too. So that's just my opinion.
Again, I'm not saying to go to Walgreens and get this. This is with the doctor's care. So you do. I mean, this is a prescription drug. That goes without saying, apparently. But obesity is a legal, medical, numerical measurement, and I'm talking about obesity. You can define whatever you want as fat based on your own opinion. I'm talking about the actual scientific metric of obesity. If you fit into that category medically, then this might be the only thing that can help you.
It could be.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just wanted to clarify that. Let me see. You sent me this here. A mob of angry, extremely emotional white liberal women berate core power yoga staffers.
Can you explain this to me? Go ahead.
ICE raids.
Yeah. I couldn't figure out what is going on in Minneapolis. Obviously, they've got mass derangement syndrome here. This is like a George Floyd thing. There's nothing happening in the yoga place. They weren't doing anything. They just wanted them to do something about ICE in the yoga joint.
Well, yeah, they're getting.
There was no in other words,
protest, dude. So they got to go
well,
somewhere.
They're in their yoga class, and they demanded that the instructor and the place denounce ICE. They weren't promoting ICE. They're just demanding that they put up signs and denounce them and take a knee, quote unquote. And the people are pushing back. They're not knowing what they're supposed to do with this mob of liberal ladies from libs of TikTok.
Oh, let's watch for a minute.
Let's go. Give us answers. Let's go. Say them out loud and for the camera for all my viewers. Let's hear it. Why are you being silent? Let's hear it, Delaney, loud and proud, baby. You want to say it? Let's fucking say it. Why? Okay, let's go. It's an and a well. You should have well-rehearsed corporate action and words ready to go. Our community.
They literally have surrounded the front desk, the yoga lady.
They're
This
like,
is just a chick
we're
who works
yoga. We're a yoga house. We don't
This is the
think about
minimum
this.
wage chick who works at the yoga desk. There's about 20 of them there. They've with their leotards have just now surrounded her and her assistant at the front desk. Here they are. Take a look at this mad group of yoga mat women, upper middle class women who are demanding some sort of concessions from these two girls who work at the front desk. This is their battle of 2026.
Ask years at Core Power is a major corporation. They're all over this country. The fact that they're staying silent about what is happening in Minneapolis, not only staying silent, but trying to silence us and speaking out. And by
That's
us,
right.
I mean the people who are working for Power, your guys' teachers,
God, can I play her at half speed?
your guys' people who are presenting you. The fact that is being silenced, the fact that you guys are staying silent, that is complicit. That is not okay. People
Well, okay, hold on. This is a total leftist mindset. This is like the whole principle of either somebody is a racist or anti-racist. It's like, you've got to make a stand. No, we're just.
But there was nothing happening. There was no. There's no incident. There was nobody said I support ICE. They're just browbeating these women who are just doing their job, running a building with an open space where they stretch out in these positions.
Yeah. 100%. And it's just like, no, everybody will fall into line. You will come here. You will make a statement. You will do that. It's like, Jesus.
Dude, I would tell them to walk. Hey, I say, here's your membership. It's been canceled. Have a nice day.
Well, yeah. How many of them are even members? So
No, they were in a class, so they probably are members. It's a chain, that yoga thing.
God,
it's like Jack LaLanne's yoga.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that corporate will be like, if it is a corporate chain that's I'd be like, pull out. Just pull out.
No, I mean, the proper way to do this would be to simply send an email to the corporate headquarters saying, what is your position on this ICE thing? Not to browbeat these two chicks behind the desk. Why don't you just find the corporate headquarters and call them on the phone, or just send them an email?
Oh, because they have lawyers, they'll answer. And it's like it won't be the answer you necessarily want. So it's right. It's more fun to beat up on the minimum wage employee who's confused, and you could feel strong.
They don't know what to make of it. They're a minimum wage employee who opened the door and let them in to do their crazy yoga stretches.
I agree. It is.
Anyway, I thought you'd find that interesting because it reminds me. Steve Hilton this week is running against the sheriff from out in San Bernardino and for governor of California. By the way, everybody thought that Kamala Harris would have a huge announcement yesterday, and it turns out she's launching a new website instead of running for governor. There was anticipation that she was going to make a huge announcement because she said she was going to make a huge announcement. So people said she's making a huge announcement because she said so. The announcement was that the People for the American Way, which used to be run by Norman Lear, with George Soros, are funding her new webpage and website. That was the announcement. That being said, she's apparently not made any other announcements. So Steve Hilton, who is the former Fox pundit who's running for governor, is fighting with Chad, whatever the freak his name is, the sheriff out in San Bernardino, who is running on the Republican side for governor of California, pointing out, rightfully so, that this putz out in San Bernardino took a knee during the George Floyd uprisings. And I think he's about finished because it was that easy to point it out, which everybody remembers here.
Yeah, one would hope. I mean, that guy.
He didn't show up for the debates. The debates were, by the way, the debates were on Fox Local. I was watching them. He didn't show up, by the way. This guy, Chad. Hanging Chad did not show up because he was probably home hanging himself. But they kept having technical difficulties during the debate, losing the audio and video about 10 times. And I went, how fitting is this?
Wow. I mean, they're really not going to go anywhere, are they? I mean,
no.
It's such a single party state. It's just sad.
Yeah, it's hard to penetrate.
Yeah. All right. Well, you know what'll make me feel better?
What?
Super chats. And we're
starting.
Is that
a new protein drink?
Yeah.
A new sauce, a new duck sauce?
It's a cash injection.
Is it me, or does the Chinese restaurant not give you any freaking duck sauce anymore? I'm just asking people in the chat. Do you get duck sauce packets any longer? What is it, become like cocaine or something to these Chinese people? They don't give you any duck sauce anymore. Just want to see if other people around the country are getting duck sauce.
That'll be a question that the chat will have to answer. Since
okay.
I do not eat at Chinese restaurants because.
Okay, well, that's out for Hunley. Chinese food is out.
Yeah, MSG can't do.
You could say no MSG. I mean, that's only 30 years old. That scandal.
Yeah, well, whatever. I just don't.
Hunley's got all kinds of rules, people. New things you learn every week with this guy. He won't fly. He's afraid of semi-tractor trailers. He won't eat Chinese food. Each week we learn a little bit more.
Oh, there you go. There you go. I got to give him a reason to come back. It's called a retention strategy.
Retention strategy. All right.
All right. So starting off from Australia, Anthony is saying Trump's fault. And I guess, yeah, more and more.
You know this guy, Rudyard Lynch, Eric? He's a conservative commentator. Rudyard Lynch. I'm just putting that out there for people. Absolutely riveting. He's on what's it called? Dad's podcast, Save Dad or whatever that one.
Dad Saves America.
No, that's the Obama one. This is
that's Pod Save America.
That's Pod Save America.
This is like Dad Saves. It's like a
very similar name. Yeah.
Yeah,
fascinating 2 hours with this guy, Rudyard Lynch, talking about the new Civil War. It's the reason I'm mentioning it. Highly recommend this YouTube video with interview with this guy, Rudyard Lynch.
And Tim Pool was like, "Stop it! That's me. What are you doing getting in my territory?"
The Civil War. Is he on that, or is that?
He's been talking Civil War for 4 years.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, well, I hope he's happy now.
Yeah, I don't know. Let me see. We've got Laura. $20. Thank you very much. Or Mao. No, it's Moa. That's okay. Good. A diffuse tractor guy. Did you guys catch Viva Fry on the Rubin report?
No.
It was great, especially analyzing the language of the wokest.
Whoa, I got to see that.
Yeah. David goes on there on occasional Fridays.
Is that like a Rumble thing or something? Or are they Rumble people?
No. He goes on there. That's like it seems like Rubin and Dr. Drew and Jillian Michaels have a show that's called True
can't watch
Friends
that Jillian
or
Michaels. That Jillian Michaels gets on my nerves, and I don't mean politically. It's just she seems hyperactive. I don't like. There's something about. I don't like the voice. I don't know. Does anybody else feel that way? It could be just me, but she's just the whole presentation bothers me. I can't watch it.
All right. Well, better than Anna Kasparian.
That being said, I think Thursday, I'm going on with Dr. Drew to talk about the new Civil War on his show. That just reminded me. I got to write this down. Go to Dr. Drew on Thursday, 12 noon.
All right, to fight the Civil War.
To fight the Civil War. Thursday, 12 noon, Dr. Drew.
All right. Coffee Roaster 99 with the most important subject of the day. Will you discuss the overnight post?
What's the overnight post?
It was Trump
got
caught with a meme where they snuck in. It was like about the voting machines or whatever, and then the last 2 seconds was this image of the Obamas, which apparently came from another video, which was showing a Jungle Book thing of Democrats.
Somebody carved that out. Somebody carved out that little snippet. I saw it. They slice it in. It's almost subliminal how fast it is in the middle of the voting machine videos. This little thing is from
59 out of 102. Yep.
Yeah, it was a millisecond slice subliminally put in there. Had nothing to do with Trump. Completely innocent of this.
I mean,
again,
he got caught. He got caught on it. I don't think he even saw it, and it's possible that they were scrolling to another video when it happened, but.
Yeah, the video is not about this. It's about the voting machines that he put up, and this was implanted in it for a millisecond.
Anyway, and I guess they're saying that a junior staffer had put this together. I don't know, but
no,
it's not helpful, obviously.
It'll go away in a second.
Yeah, I mean, I that's part of why I don't want to dwell on it, because I don't.
No,
wanna be
it's
more
nothing to
oxygen
dwell
than
on.
it is.
Again, for the 9 millionth time, Trump has been indicted in the media and proven 30 seconds later to be innocent.
Yep. Let me see. Diffuse. And by the way, Trump did delete it the second they knew about it. They deleted it. I mean, what else are you going to do? Diffuse 56 gifted 10 America's Untold Stories membership. So thank you very, very much, Tractor Guy. Always super generous, and it does mean a lot. Lord knows we need it. Coffee Roaster 99 again. Please discuss the overnight. Okay, well, thank you for.
You can play the tape back.
Yeah,
just
we just did.
Slide the thing backwards about an inch, and you'll hear it. Should we talk about it some more? Is there more to talk about?
I don't know where else to go with it. Like I said, it doesn't look. It's not great. It is what it is. I don't think you saw it. There's no way he would put that up there knowingly. Go, I mean, come on, that makes no sense whatsoever. Bighorn Shaver said, I don't know the context here. Put her in a self-driving Tesla, no risk.
He's talking about the kidnap victim.
Oh, okay.
He put her in a Waymo and send her. There was a video of a Waymo going through Eagle Rock, or it might have been Silver Lake the other day, in a very tight. We have roads here in neighborhoods that are very tight, with tight little winding roads in the hills, and this Wegovy hit about 15 cars that were tightly parked in this neighborhood, and the people were coming out of their houses chasing the Wegovy that had no driver, and it sideswiped, I swear to God, like 8 or 9 cars in a row on this tight little road in the hills here in Silver Lake. So I think they got some things to work on.
Yeah.
And then it ran over a little girl the other day who jumped out between traffic, but that could have happened with a regular car.
Fair enough. I got a Rumble rant here you'll want to hear. Shelly of Texas wants to marry you, Mark.
Right on, Shelly. Let's get this done. Come on. Is there a prenup so we can protect ourselves from each other, Shelly?
I don't know. Well, I mean, Shelly's giving $10 to marry you, so
okay, that's a good way to start. It's a good opening gambit. It's a good opening bid.
Okay.
I like Texas. Depends where you are. I mean, I don't know what some Texas got a lot of snow apparently. Austin might be a deal breaker though, Shelly.
Yes on the prenup.
Okay, really cool. I like that.
Well,
She may be sitting on a fortune down there, and I don't want to get messed up in some sort of shenanigans afterwards. Like Phil Hartman refused to divorce his wife, and it ended badly for Phil Hartman. He should have divorced her, and
Well, it's getting heated now. Let me see. Janeway 1 has just bid $20. And
she's outbid Shelly. Shelly, come on back.
No, but Janeway said they bid $20, but didn't actually send $20. So there's no rent. It's just an empty statement. It appears.
They ain't gonna cut it, girls. That ain't gonna cut it.
Yeah, that's not gonna fly. And then
never been married.
TSM Money said that they will wrestle Shelly of Texas for you, Mark.
In the mud, like John Candy did in Stripes, with bikinis.
No, okay. So Shelly of Texas is given another alternative. I guess you guys can have a polyamorous relationship, because she said that's okay. We can just live together.
Polyamorous meaning more than 2 people, or
I'm guessing, or maybe she said you don't have to marry her. You could just live.
They took that show off the air, which was a reality show I was telling you about these 2 couples that were in a 4-way polyamorous relationship with multiple children. It was the craziest reality show. Apparently didn't have the ratings that it needed to survive, or eventually just went off the rails because they ran out of crazy things to say to normal people. They were going in to deal with prenups. They were going in to deal with children's custody. They were doing things on the show to tighten up their world. And I think they just ran out of things to do as a polyamorous four-person group.
Well, I mean, it is such a crazy world. I mean, at one time that would be shocking. Now it's nowadays that's like, well, that's just a mixed family and they happen to live together.
Right. Yeah. They were going to, this was in Oregon, and they were just going up to people saying, and they would just, think they're going to shock people. And they're going, well, there are 4 of us. We're all a couple together. Like, we're all 4. And people going, okay, whatever, $8. Whatever the thing was they were doing, nobody appeared to care nor be shocked by their revelations any longer.
I think that the biggest concern I have with it, like, I don't recommend that lifestyle, is I don't want you to get a corporate discount for insurance. So that's my biggest concern.
That's your
like,
one.
I don't want you to be sucking off and getting dependency.
How about the poor children?
Because,
How about the children? Don't you have any concerns about them?
I mean, there's so many children to keep up with. I'm sorry that the kids are going through it. I mean, it sucks, definitely. But what am I going to do about it?
I'm not saying, but your concerns about a discount,
because it's my selfish concerns. Thank you very much.
Kill me. You kill me.
Good.
I didn't see that coming.
I'm here all day.
I didn't see that coming. That was a great
good one. All right. K-Dog
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Saying Epstein's death robbed us of what would have been the mother of all plea deals.
I don't think so. I think that he was confident about getting out because he was railroaded back into jail. I mean, there had been a statute of limitations. He had served his time. I mean, what else was this guy supposed to do? I think he was railroaded. I think Maxwell was tricked into coming back from England, and they seized her passport. The whole thing was being driven by Clinton's former attorneys representing these models and trying to get another pay date out of him with the threat of jail. And I think he felt, from what I understand, very confident about beating these charges that had come up so much later than the original crimes.
Well, part of the problem is that there was a deal. He made a deal. It was a bad deal. I think everybody,
bad deal, but it doesn't.
Hold on. Well, the point is that it was a deal.
Yeah,
and the deal stood, and that's why I consider the Epstein case and Maxwell case similar to the Bill Cosby case. Again, Bill Cosby is a scumbag, convicted rapist, all that.
Yeah.
But they did screw him on the deal. They said, okay, you have to testify in a civil case. Now, when in a civil case, you can't plead the fifth.
Yeah.
And because they did that, and the DA said, don't worry, you will be immune for whatever you say in the civil case. And then they go along and everything you said in the civil case was used against him in the criminal case. So it's
crazy. That was crazy.
Again, I don't like the guy. He deserved all this, but they screwed him.
You're talking about Bill Cosby?
Yeah,
I mean,
the Epstein case is not completely dissimilar.
No.
He made a deal. It was a shit deal. Great for him, bad for society. But it was a deal. He did do the time that was allocated that they gave him.
That's my point.
And
he did turn over people as an FBI informant. The FBI wrote a letter thanking him for informing on people who were doing other X crimes. And he received a letter of commendation from the FBI, served time, finished his arrangement or what Eric says deal. That's the adjudication of the particular case. You may not like it 25 years later, but at the time that he did the time and helped the FBI, that was the package. Is he supposed to 25 years later go to jail because you now don't like that package from 25 years previously? It doesn't sound legal to me.
And by the way, that was not under Trump. That was under Bush and Obama.
Yeah.
Because it went over both of those justice departments. So it's
he did work with the FBI and help them to arrest others. If you read the letter, who knows what egregious cats he helped take off the streets.
So anyway, let's see. End rows. My grandfather was a cop in the Bronx in 40s and 50s. He said the most dangerous calls were domestic calls. Emotions are high, et cetera, hasn't changed. Yes, domestic is the number one problem. And a lot of times, like, for example, the wife will call saying something's going on. The cops will get in there, they get them separated, and sometimes the wife will be the one beating on the cop or stabbing the cop. Like, don't take my man away.
Yeah, it could go crazy. It could go off the rails. It usually goes off the rails so quickly. These are EDPs, emotionally disturbed persons, and I don't mean homeless people. I mean emotionally disturbed persons who live with somebody who may have had a history of people calling them. You know, the EDPs are the most dangerous calls that a cop could go on. Like I said, to take that off the table and give it to a woman with a sociology degree from Vassar is probably the craziest thing in the history of law enforcement.
Oh yeah, it's completely ridiculous leftist thoughts.
It's going to take again, I've said this repeatedly on the show. First of all, it's going to take a number of deaths on the part of these social workers to change the policy. Democratic policies cause death. This will be another version of their policies leading to deaths of Americans. Republican policies may cost money, but they don't kill you.
Well, can I point out something that I was thinking about in this particular case with the social workers? And maybe I missed it. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but I have not seen a lot of social workers coming on TV saying, I want that job. I've never seen that. Have you seen anybody saying, no, I am a highly trained social worker and I think I could go in there and talk them down? Have you ever seen that?
I have seen some. They do have them on standby now in LA. So I have seen some interviewed. I don't know if they want the job or what the benefits are to the job, but it sounds terrifying to me.
Right.
I mean,
well, I haven't seen anybody, arguing for it that's saying that they want to do it. That's all I'm saying.
Well, somebody's going to do it because the pay and benefits might be enormous. And you may not show up alone. It might
well,
be
you know what? Cops don't make that much damn money, and they at least are armed. So I don't know how much they're going to really.
You might show up with 2 or 3 of these social workers.
Oh,
together.
2 or 3 victims potentially. Great.
Yeah.
All right. Brenda 6461. Years ago, I managed a project to install video cameras in patrol cars of PD I worked for. Back then, IACP research found that video exonerated officers 96% of the time. Thanks for the show. And I'm not surprised that it really does. There are those occasional ones. And you know what? A bad cop needs to be taken off. And if it shows them, cool. But most of the time,
why didn't they have the body cams for these people? Why, in your humble opinion?
I don't know.
Where did the body cams go? Why didn't Border Patrol and ICE have body cams?
I've always found it inexplicable. As a matter of fact, with the Renee Good, I was saying, I'm waiting for his body cam to come out, only to find out later, no, they're not doing that. And that's part of why they were holding their damn phones up. So that's the other thing. They're busy having to hold their phones up to capture whatever it is.
It locks up one of your hands. It locks up one of your hands.
Body cam be there. It's capturing all the time.
But it frees up 2 hands.
Exactly. You don't have to think about it.
Very strange.
Yeah, I want body cam. I want vehicle cams. I mean, good Lord. It's not a...
Well, here in LA, the chief of police said he will not be enforcing the brand new law banning masks for ICE and Border Patrol agents. So here yet another law that the law enforcement says they will not be enforcing. This is not the only law, but it's one of many laws that have passed where law enforcement says, sorry, we've decided not to enforce that because we decide which laws to enforce. I think that they shouldn't have,
because they know damn well that the supremacy clause, they really can't enforce that.
Right, but I'm saying I don't think law enforcement should have the power to decide which laws they're going to enforce, Eric. Bad or good. I don't think it's their prerogative.
I don't think they can. I think they're trying to claim it like it's their decision, but I feel like it's one of those, you can't fire me, I quit scenarios.
Oh, that I don't know. They came out and said they will not be enforcing this new law. I don't know how you
I don't think you could enforce it. Again, you're going to go tell a federal cop you're going to put, no, I don't think so. Again,
I don't know. Again, that's not your prerogative.
Well,
It's not your
the-
prerogative as a law enforcement agent. If they pass a
Exactly.
law, what's that?
Well, whatever it is, but you again, you ran into the supremacy issue. It's like you're not going to be enforcing it on a technically a higher level authority on that. Good luck.
No, right. I completely agree with you about what you're saying. I'm just saying it's not the prerogative of them to say which laws they can enforce or not enforce. I'm not talking about individual cases like you're describing. I completely agree with you. But if we allow law enforcement to decide which laws they're going to enforce and which ones they're not, what's the point of having laws?
Right. And all I'm saying is that they can't, and they're just trying to save face and look like they're powerful.
No, I understand the motivation. I completely get it.
They probably wouldn't say anything, period, and just wouldn't enforce it.
They had a press conference to say we're not going to enforce this law.
I know they did, and that's to gain points of power. I think is to say, look, we're going to decide this.
Well, now they're talking about removing the guy, so I guess his case may have been a stupid move on his point because they're not going to buckle. They passed this law and they want someone to enforce it.
All right, well, and then we'll see when it happens, and you could get into some really weird scenarios.
No, I agree.
Somebody goes to enforce and arrest one of them, and then the ICE agents go and arrest them, and then you've got this.
It's happened before. It's happened before in American history. This is not the first time. You know that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we go to the Kennedy. You go to the Kennedy case where they were in a standoff with guns, the Secret Service and Dallas police removing the body from Dallas.
Well, there's that. There's also there have been multiple undercover operations where all of a sudden you have the police pointing at feds, and it's like put it down, FBI, put it down, police, and it's like a complete nightmare scenario. So anyway, Al Gonzalez. NYC is facing a 70s style budget crisis soon. Massive tax increases ahead. Layoffs and pensions in jeopardy. No federal bailout expected. It's going to get ugly.
Ford to city, drop dead. Yeah, I mean, this is a Trump Ford to city time period. He's picked a great time to do this because there's not going to be any bailouts. The garbage is piling high. The snow is piling high. It reeks of 70s, Al. With crime and chaos, crime and grime, and also no bailouts by this Republican administration. He's not going to send them a check so they can continue to have these anti-Israel seminars that they're hosting on what to do with Gaza. Apparently, this is a big deal where his cabinet or staff is meeting around the clock to come up with something about Gaza now. It's got a foreign policy. Apparently, this is the only mayor in New York with a foreign mayor in history has got a foreign policy.
He has higher aspirations, obviously. All right. John Springer here is saying, sorry, I'm late. What did I miss? Go slow and don't leave anything out. Kidding. Okay. Question. What do you assess was the biggest mistake Sheriff Nanios made in the Guthrie case? Well, one that I said earlier, leaving the crime scene and shutting it down to where anybody could go in and spoil any potential future evidence.
That's not good. That was not good. That was not good.
So that's mine. Mark.
Yeah, I mean, talking about the details of the note, the non-details of the note, none of this stuff should have been public about the note or anything else. He's gone back and forth on it. It's just been all over the map. Crying doesn't help. Let me put it that way. I'll add that one in. Weeping openly on camera does not help Savannah Guthrie and her family.
But he cares, Mark. He cares.
You guys are nuts. Get him out of here.
No, you know what? He's a social worker.
He's a social worker crying. Yeah. Apparently he apparently won his election by a handful of votes.
400 and change.
Yeah, I'd go back and take a look at that. Arizona.
Well, that was after recount.
Arizona's so corrupt, it's thrilling. Especially Pima County, where Eric's from. I mean, it's a combination, and from what I understand, of ineptitude and corruption in Pima County.
I don't know. You know, I told you who moved into Pima County and changed it. It was happening while I was there. Thank you, California. Lisa Deed, 9899. The woman put signs up and employees took them down. Oh,
the woman put signs up.
The yoga. Apparently,
the yoga women put up signs because they feel that any political thing they should be able to put up signs at when I go to the gym. at the gym here in LA, I should be able to put up signs for my pet political causes because I pay $40 a month at a gym. That makes sense.
Yeah. And
Like
never
those
mind
wouldn't be
everybody else who disagrees with you or anything.
Right,
Oh, no,
right.
screw
I am going
them.
to put up signs at the gym that I go to for my pet political causes, and anyone who puts them down, takes them down, there's going to be trouble.
That's your sacred right, Mark.
Yeah, it's my sacred right is to put up signs at my gym.
Yeah, good time. All right, AV8 Picks gifted 10 America's Untold Stories memberships. I think that's the first time. Thank you, AV8. I do deeply appreciate that, and Mark does too. He's just quiet about it.
I don't know what they do. I don't know. I never understood what they do, so I don't know what to say. The money part I get. I don't know what the membership.
That's the part you need to get.
I don't know. The money part I get, the super chat thing, and the memberships. I guess it's like a gym membership. You're now part of.
It's a way that they can support, the channel. It's just.
I know you say that, but I have a hard time understanding it.
And they, there's different icons that can be used and things like that.
Okay.
Emojis. William Ratcliffe. What happened to Katie Porter?
Oh, she hasn't gone away. She had a cooking show yesterday where she was chopping up vegetables in her kitchen. She made a YouTube video and she was angrily using a meat cleaver to chop up these vegetables. And as she discussed her political career, she would get angrier and angrier, chopping up more and more vegetables. It was quite crazy to see her with a knife.
Wish I had that.
Yeah, I've been trying to find it. It was on the radio, and they were playing the audio from it, and the guy was going, "You're never going to believe what this looks like." And he said, "I don't think this is going to stay up on her website very long because of how crazy it was." It reminded me of the Julia Childs, Dan Aykroyd parody on SNL, where she was just chopping up this thing, talking about how to make this thing, but it was really about her political mistakes. Wow. Yeah, she's in the race. They're all in the race. There seems to be a lot of them in the race. And
my favorite was when they showed her the Dan Turrentine talking about her and her blink rate. It was just I was like sitting there going, Dan, make sure your life insurance is paid up because you want your family.
Again, I believe we need I know this sounds crazy, but I think for political office, and you could take it down as low as you want, I think we need some sort of mental exam, which can be, the Minnesota multiphasic personality test that has about 220 questions. I think this should be a standard for political office in the American culture. You can refuse to take it, but that could be a political weapon used by your opponent. But I think we do need to have some sort of mental test for people running for political office these days.
Oh, fair enough. I'm not your buddy guy. Thoughts about the CCP biolab found in Vegas?
So we had the labs here. I mean, why? Who cares about Vegas? We had them here. They didn't do anything. In California. I mean, nobody seems to care that the Communist Chinese Party has biolabs. They don't care that they're buying up land next to air bases, that they're training their pilots at air bases, that they've infiltrated American scientific universities. Nobody gives a shit about anything these commies do. Biolabs? Hey, what are you talking about? I got the Super Bowl I'm going to watch this week. Who cares about biolabs?
All right. We've got and uh-oh. And we've started, we've descended to new lows. My bid for Mark, agreeing to the prenup. So $25.
Oh, $25. Wow. Now we're getting somewhere. Wait a second. She's agreeing to the prenup that I'm going to make her sign so she can't get my fortune.
Apparently.
Okay. Well, that's a positive
Or
step.
maybe it's that you're signing to not.
I know. That's not,
fortune.
I don't know.
Dummy.
I don't
you
know.
Never know.
I don't know.
Nick Giusti, MPLS, bunch of white
Minneapolis.
Okay, Minneapolis. Thank you. Bunch of white liberals called a black ICE agent. Yeah, we covered that. Nate and I did actually. They called him the House N-word with a hard R. Reportedly to his face, and it wasn't just once. It was at least 4 times throughout, saying, "Oh, you House N-word, you House N." Anyway, over and over. Malcolm X said the white liberal is the worst enemy to the USA, and the black man still spot on. Oh, absolutely. That's why we were covering it with Nate. It's the greatest of irony. And what the black ICE agent had done is he looked at one of them and goes, "Are you a man?"
Whoa.
And it was apparently somebody trans. And then somebody just went into that. You house in, house in, house in, house in. Nick Juicy, this is true. Half of ICE DHS are minorities.
That's law enforcement in every urban environment in the country.
But especially Border Patrol and ICE, with the language and things like that, there's extremely high Latino population within the organization.
Oh, Latinos. That's interesting.
Christian,
I haven't seen any black ICE agents. Have you?
Well, yeah, there's literally, we just talked about one.
No, I'm saying other than, I have not seen any black Border Patrol or ICE agents. Again, it's anecdotal. I'm just looking at video over the years, but I have not seen any. I've seen plenty of black cops, urban cops, and I haven't seen ICE and Border Patrol.
There are some. It's nowhere near. I mean, I don't know. The biggest proportion of them is Latinos. So
okay,
Guatemalan, Mexican.
Good job.
Well, and speaking Spanish is useful, especially for a
very
Border Patrol
useful.
agent.
Not for driving a rig when it's your only language, though.
Well, a lot of, by the way, I want to point out a lot of the people driving the rigs being busted are not of Latin origin. There's Indians.
Yeah,
Indians, some Eastern Europeans in the mix, and other people.
Do you know any Indians that don't speak English? They said Indians, but I never met an Indian.
India itself is supposed to be English.
I've never met an Indian who doesn't speak English. I don't get that part.
Well, I don't know either. But yeah. Let me see. Christine Barbic 8033 with $50. Thank you so much. Very, very generous. But thank God, I was thinking it was going to be another bid for you. Republican influencers online are acting like Trump's collapsing. Do you feel this is true? Influencers online are acting like Trump's collapsing. Do you feel this is true? Okay, it's kind of the same thing. Do we feel like true influencers are doing it? I think there's a mix. I think there are people who are trying to take over MAGA. They see 2028 and they're making moves. Tucker Carlson, for one, I think is trying to politically get his power consolidated and increase his influence. And I think there are others. And a lot of this is because, Trump can't run again. So let's tee up and get whatever power we can in 2028.
Well, it's two different groups. She's talking about true Republican influences who are political influences versus, crackpots like Candace Owens and Tucker. I mean, that's two separate worlds, Eric. I don't know which world she's talking about here, but I think she's referring to regular political Republican influences, not the extreme crazy crap that Tucker and Candace are doing.
Well, but even within that, you have the quote never Trumpers who still exist, and they're trying to get the power back. You've got the whole Bush side of the Republican Party, that the Pences of the world, who again are saying, "Okay, I see opportunity to jump back in here," and then you have legitimate people who are still supporting him, and it's all over the place. Trump built a great coalition in 2024. Everybody was rowing together for the most part. It's fractured like crazy right now. And
he's not going to be there. So, I mean, fractured like crazy, he's not going to be around. Unless he bails out, a couple of months before the election, like I suggested, 6 or 8 months before, and turn the reins over to JD Vance, which I strongly recommend. There's no reason not to do it. JD Vance could then appoint Rubio to be vice president of the United States. He would get confirmed by the Senate in a heartbeat. You'd have a ticket of Vance and Rubio in place, ready to do battle with Newsom and his gang.
And they could do 2 elections too, because there'll be plenty of time. He can be under the 10 years. He could run twice and be an incumbent 3 times or whatever. He'll be an incumbent twice.
Yeah. And he could,
that might be the only way to hold it together too. I don't know.
And then Vance can pardon Trump from prosecution and have his back, and Trump could then go on the stump and campaign for for Vance. I mean, any way you slice and dice this thing, I've thought it out quite a bit. All he's got to do is resign with 6 or 8 months left in his administration, and then do what I just said, and I think it would help immensely. There's no reason for him to wait until the last day in office. I kind of recommended that. I
Well, you said with Kamala, you
was,
thought they were going to do it,
and I think it would have helped her. I'm glad they didn't take my advice. I mean, it's a pretty good move, and it's really political hardball. But I think in this particular case, with his enemies at the gate, this would also help him, and I think it would help Vance become perceived as presidential timber. By being
president,
right? No, I know.
I mean, it's like, well, instantly he is, and
right.
But I don't think it happened with Biden and Kamala Harris, mostly because of Joe Biden. I mean, there was personal hatred.
It was
in
ego.
There,
it was total ego, and it may be ego again. He may not want to do it because I want every last drop of power until the last minute, and that may end up biting him on the ass again.
It could. I mean, it wouldn't completely surprise me. Nick Juicy, happy Friday. Like and subscribe. Do it. I agree. Thank you very much. Aviate picks. Let me see. Try being an unarmed paramedic on EDP jobs and no cops available. Don't send me a social worker.
Yeah, like I pointed out, to pick up these homeless guys in New York, the social worker comes with a cop in one of these vans, and they both together urge the homeless person to get into the van so they could take them to Randall's Island for services in the middle of the night when it's cold at night. Even in the summer they do it. They did. I don't know what they do now, but when I was living there, they used to at night go around the city to the spots where the homeless were sleeping and say, you can't sleep here, you got to get in the van. And the enforcement, of course, is the cop who says, I'll enforce the vagrancy law and take in the van myself.
All right. And by the way, I do want to say, I mean, if they have the budget for it, because I don't think they do, I'm perfectly okay if they want to send a social worker out with the cops.
That's what they used to do.
Like to be in the car and advise the police officer inside, like, try this, or this may be that, try, whatever. That's fine. But you definitely need somebody who's armed and is a potential threat.
What about like somebody who does impressions? Would that help? A Rich Little who could come in and do an impression of the guy's mother saying, surrender, Jeffrey, this is your mother. And he was spot on with a great impersonation of the guy's mother.
Sure. I think that's a truly novel.
So if the social worker could learn how to do impressions and then get a tape recording of the relative of the emotionally disturbed person, that could help.
And hopefully the language too, as the language.
You got to. Does anybody speak Ghanese here? I mean, there's so many languages in New York. You'd have to get a social worker who speaks that particular language.
Exactly.
I mean, do you know anyone who speaks Ethiopian?
Who's not Ethiopian? No.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of an interesting language. Or have you ever eaten at an Ethiopian restaurant?
I haven't, and I'd consult Sam Kinison on that.
Yeah, it's sketchy. The whole menu is sketchy.
All right. Francis with an I. Okay, interesting. Bongino explicitly explained that FBI always assists on kidnap cases they do not lead. Local law enforcement is lead. Nothing political here, boys.
I've never heard of that before, but okay, that's your opinion.
I maybe Bongino.
I completely disagree with that. So just because the guy paid $5 to put that up doesn't make it true.
Okay.
The president of the United States has ordered the FBI to handle this case. That's all I know.
Nick Juicy, that Minnesota test didn't work out so well for General Walker. I paid attention, Mark. The Walker videos are really well done too. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, I don't know about working out. The Minnesota phasic personality test has been used by the entire mental health industry for a long time. I mean, kidnapping a guy and putting him in a mental hospital for political reasons might be a separate area of expertise, but the test itself has been really accurate. In fact, there's other cases where people have not answered certain questions. You may want to look at the Minnesota phasic personality test of Sirhan, who refused to answer questions about hypnosis and suggestions of people asking him to do violent things, and him not answering particular questions on that test.
All right. Andrew Ha, I guess 1017 with a very long super chat here. Interesting happening. I just had to log into my Facebook page after updating my browser, and they did the Google CAPTCHA. I am not a robot check. Facebook trying, hold on, get rid of bot accounts, or is it me being Australian and our Karen?
No, they've been tightening it up lately. I had to go through the same shit.
I hate Facebook, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's a whole mishmash of attempts by fuckface to get rid of these bots. I don't know how Zuckface to get rid of these bots. Again, I don't know how effective it is. I just don't go on there. I don't give a shit what's going on there anymore. Who cares?
Average PC gamer with $9.99. Thank you. That's very generous. Do appreciate that.
He's the average PC gamer. He's not the regular PC gamer who comes on here. This is the average one.
Yeah, we normally have exceptional PC gamers, but we accept average too.
Right. The average guy is okay, but he's no top guy.
Taylor Pollock. Yeah, we're known as our great game playing. Enjoying the commentary tonight. Mark always makes us laugh.
You think I'm funny? You think I'm like a clown? Go ahead, sir.
Gonna get a shoe shine box. Anyway, do you think DeSantis has a chance in 2028? Do you think the Dems will run Kamala again?
I think he would make a great vice presidential candidate, depending on what Rubio wants to do, stay in the State Department or do something himself, Rubio. It's really Rubio's call, and I think DeSantis could be a good VP. And Kamala Harris is going to milk this thing until every last fucking cent comes out of Democratic donors, and she will torture them to death. We're rooting for her to run again. People on the conservative side are rooting for her to drain other Democratic coffers, to make a mess of their run, to cause trouble in their primary. Keep in mind, she is a black woman in a party that is run by black women. Anything other than I am endorsing so-and-so Newsom by her is going to cause chaos. So I'm rooting for her.
That's why Sean Spicer's like, where do I sign up? Where do I sign up?
Yeah, no, I agree. Where do I sign up? Because anything short of an endorsement, which she will not do, I am rooting for her to never, ever endorse anyone and keep hope alive to say that I'm still thinking about running up until the night of the election.
And
which I believe
Michelle
she will
Obama
do.
too. And
Michelle Obama also. Yeah.
Yep. Average gamer again here. The CBP and DHS is the lowest barrier to entry to federal law enforcement in the system. They can lateral to better agencies from there, given the hiring guidelines.
Wow, that's good to know that Eric and I could still work for DHS and Border Patrol.
I'm sure I'm aged out. But
really? Oh my God! Don't sell yourself short. You could still do something. The salaries are kind of comfortable, aren't they?
Well, the ICE $50,000 bonus or whatever they were doing.
They make it $200K. This guy was on a video talking about making $200K with overtime.
Oh, well, overtime, yeah. Let me see. We've got
Rumble rant here. Overtime.
Super Bowl predictions and what a boot the halftime bunny show.
Okay, I'm rooting for the TP USA halftime show. I hope everyone tunes into that, which will be online, obviously. And Bunny and Green Day can do whatever they want on the show. And it's a pick'em Super Bowl. I don't know which way this is going to go.
All right, so you don't have.
I really don't.
All right, well, good. Last Rumble rant, and we're going to head to locals. Teddy Ball Game 1. Mark, have you ever eaten at All American in Massapequa? I think is how you say
it. I just remembered that. I have. Yeah, All American Burger. It was there when I was a kid. I don't know if it's still there, but All American. I'm just trying to visualize it. It's been a long time, but it was a burger place on Sunrise Highway in Massapequa. If that helps, I think that's the one you're talking about. It was a drive-in burger place.
All right. Well, folks, it's been a
Boy, that was a weird
long
memory.
show. We're going to be heading over to Locals. Again, you can be a member there for free or come over and support us.
If you want to get to Locals, you take the 10 to the 405 to the 40 and get off
in the
at
description.
get off at exit 17.
And again, it's free. And if we don't see you at Locals, well, we will see you next Tuesday.